Meeting tonight upon our mayor and city council members and all that have gathered to participate and be a part of this time. We especially remember our neighbors and friends in Eastern Kentucky in this very, very difficult time. Pray your blessing upon all the first responders and all the many volunteers that are working tirelessly, countless hours to help those who are in such great need. We pray for the families of those who lost loved ones and friends, and pray that your will might be done through us in helping them in the days and weeks and months to come. We ask that you'll watch over and bless us as we share this time together. Be with all that live and work in Jeffersontown and our community. For it is in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The person that wants to speak for the Troop 175, if you would want to get up. Okay, thanks. You had one scratched out and then another one added, so I'm not sure quite sure. Go ahead.
Mayor Deariff and members of the Jeffersontown City Council, my name is Dylan MacArthur, Senior Patrol Leader from Scouts BSA Troop 175, sponsored by St. Edward Church here in Jeffersontown. My troop and I are here to say thank you for your support over the last 5 years. In 2018 and twice in 2021, the J-Town City Council decided to support our troop by donating funds for some great adventures. We know that you may have other well-deserving causes to support, so we take your donations with a large sense of gratitude. With your donations, our troop has been able to send scouts and scout leaders to Sea Base in the Florida Keys, Philmont Scout Ranch in Cimarron, New Mexico, and Northern Tier winter camping in Minnesota. In these trips, over 50 scouts and scout leaders have been able to benefit from your generosity. On these trips, scouts have learned valuable lessons. At Sea Base in 2019, scouts traveled to the Florida Keys where they lived on a deserted island for 5 days. They had to live in a hot environment where they lived off a limited amount of food and water. Scouts kayaked through a mangrove forest in the middle of the night, experienced shark and deep sea fishing, snorkeled several times, and learned about the environment of the Florida Keys. In the summer of 2021, 21 scouts and scout leaders traveled to Philmont, New Mexico to experience 12 days of backpacking in the mountains. 2 crews hiked more than 70 miles over 12 days. Along the way, we experienced amazing wildlife, learned about the history of the 150,000-acre ranch that was donated to the Boy Scouts, and some amazing skills like fly fishing, candle making, ranching, and brick making, to name a few. This was done while carrying all of our equipment on our backs. Finally, in early 2022, 14 of our scouts and leaders traveled to Northern Tier in Minnesota to experience extreme winter camping. Scouts were able to build snow shelters and sleep on a frozen lake while facing temperatures as low as negative 29 degrees. Despite the extreme temperatures, they were able to ice fish, dog sled, and cross-country ski. They were also able to learn the history of guiding in the northern boundary waters. On the way home, they visited the International Wolf Center, where they were able to observe captive wolves feeding, to learn about the food chain in the surrounding area. But our troop does more than go on adventures. Some of the things we're most proud of happen right here at home. We have a commitment to help in our community, and we've recently completed several service projects, including scouts cleaning up yards of less fortunate people, delivering cards to homebound citizens during the pandemic, giving countless hours and donations to Jeffersontown area ministries. We've pulled truckloads of trash out of Veterans Park and Charlie Ventnor Park. And one of our most recent Eagle Scouts led the effort to build handicap accessible picnic tables for Veterans Park. And there have been other projects along the way. As you can see, your generosity has helped these scouts experience new environments and situations that were both adventurous and challenging. The prospect of adventure got our interest, but the impact of the challenge is what will benefit us and our community in the years to come. Each one of these trips required planning, budgeting, leadership, and sacrifice for the sake of others. We learned the importance of being prepared. We learn the benefits of building a budget, anticipating contingencies, and adjusting to stay on budget. We learn how to lead, when to lead, but just as important, we also learn when to listen. We also learn the value of relying on and supporting our team, along with the self-sacrifice for the benefit of the group. These are all life skills we will continue to use in scouting, school, home, and as the future leaders of Jeffersontown. Scouting opened the door to these adventures and life lessons, but they did not happen without a lot of outside support, including from this council. So we, as Troop 175 from Jeffersontown, Kentucky, would like to say thank you for all you've done for us, and we hope you continue to see the value and future support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you are the troop that goes above the percentage of Eagle Scouts that you produce. So that means you produce the young men of the future that will lead us. Thank you very much. And thanks for being here. And everybody, you're filling up half the capacity here. So I appreciate it very much, guys. Y'all show what J-Town's about. We appreciate you leading us in that direction.
I kind of feel like I'm just keeping a chair warm from that young man.
Yeah. You better watch the next election, guys. They're good thing he's not running against anybody here, isn't it?
Very good speaker.
Yeah, you did fantastic, by the way. Reading of the minutes, July 19th, 2022.
Mayor, I would move that those minutes be approved as distributed.
Second.
Any deletions, subtractions, or comments?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. General Fund Warrant 1566.
Make a motion, General Fund Warrant 1566 be approved as distributed.
Second.
Any deletions, subtractions, additions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Road Fund Warrant 953.
Make a motion we approve Road Fund Warrant 953 as distributed.
Second.
Any corrections, deletions, subtractions, or additions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I am taking the liberty to add two things to the agenda tonight as we move forward. There are two resolutions, hopefully that you all are in favor of. One of them, as you know, that we've had massive destruction in eastern Kentucky. Chief and I got a call out from Whitesburg this Sunday, I believe, late Sunday night. They had lost their police cars and was needing help. So we instantly reached out and took two of our police cars to dedicate it to them. And as you may have seen on Facebook, that they have gotten to Whitesburg, and they're very, very appreciative of supplying what they need. Beyond that, anybody that would like to help, we have Cities Helping Cities that I set up 3 years ago of our city. If you know what we should donate, we will list it with them and any city that needs help in the future. But tonight, I need a resolution. We'll pass this out. Thanks, Ray. There we got it. Resolution declaring certain cars as surplus in order to sell 3 of them to Linden Police Department. Linden has taken over Graymore Devondale's police department and is expanding and asked for our help on the police cars. So we sold them 3 of ours rather than go to auction. Or 4 of them, rather than go to auction. And then below that are the 2 cars that went to Whitesburg, and then scrapped armored vehicle. And Jimmy had a couple things down to Public Works that were declared surplus. So they're all in this resolution. Any questions?
I'm just glad we're in a position to help these other departments and the people of Linden and Whitesburg. So I'd like to make a motion that we pass resolution number 7/2012, series 22 as distributed, or by title only.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have one question. The vehicle that's going to be scrapped, that armored truck, we had 2 of those, is that right? Or we had 2 Humvees at one. What was? So is this the one we use for parts?
This is an armored truck that we have.
It doesn't run.
It's
Okay.
not a Humvee. It's
Okay.
the armored truck that we were given, they were going to use. And they
The
found
small
out
unit, right?
They were going to use it, but it wasn't armor protected, basically.
I understand.
the bullets could still come through.
Then it doesn't help us.
Hence,
Scrap.
or-
That's right, scrap.
If it doesn't protect you, we don't need it. So,
Thank you,
yes.
Mayor. That's all I have.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Resolution number 712, Series 2022, a resolution declaring police department vehicles and public works lift as surplus. Mayor, you may entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The second item that I am taking liberty to add is there was, four of the council members were able to attend the Water with Blessings event this weekend. And those that don't know Waters with Blessings, they take a filter that's a military filter. It's about as big as the palm of your hand or the fist of your hand, and they can clean the water coming out of the creeks or even down at the Eastern Kentucky. They will be working with them in the next few days to hopefully take filters down for helpful there. This group is raising money for water filters for the Navajo Nation. Many people think that our Native Americans have all the conveniences that we do, and they don't. So the Waters with Blessings is supplying these people with this filter, with the jug, in order to clean the water for the neighbors down in the Navajo Nation. And at the event, four of the council members, and granted they don't have the power to do it, but if for some reason you all decide not to, I could move another way. But they were very moved by the situation. I believe that they were there. Pam was there, but you had to leave early. You felt bad.
I drank the water.
Hey, she drank the water.
But I didn't leave because of that. The water was delicious.
Pre-filter water.
Yeah,
Pre-filter.
yeah. But the four of them said yes. They felt like it was good to give the $1,000 pledge to help those that need the help, similar as we did in Eastern Kentucky. So before you there will be a resolution, voice resolution, asking you to, as councils, to take $1,000 out of the council fund and give it to the Waters with Blessings for the Navajo Nation.
So moved, Mayor. I was there.
Second.
Tonight.
Thank you. Any other questions or statements that you want
I'll
to come
tell
up?
you that this country owes the Navajo Nation a certain gratitude and indebtedness for their selflessness during World War II with the Navajo speakers in the Marine Corps. So yes, everything we can do for the Navajo people, and all aboard.
One of the actors was there. That movie.
Funny thing, the night of that meeting, I went home and guess what was on?
Yeah.
Wind Talker.
Oh, really?
Their code was
Yes.
never broken either.
No.
When I was in Ireland, there is a memorial to the Navajo people for their gifts and service to the Irish people during the famine of 1848. And they are much beloved in Ireland.
Really?
Really.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Carol, come this way. Tell her, Mayor, it goes to water.
Wet on this side. You got a first and a second. Any further discussion or comment? See, the scouts should take a trip out to the Navajo Nation to learn what our Native Americans actually go through and learn how the water is short at that point in time. Hearing no other comments, entertain a motion for approval. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous. We have no reading on that. At this time, I request that the council go into executive session for pending litigation. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll be short time and we'll be right back, guys. Thank you.
Now they're gonna pull it.
175 or 75? I was a Boy Scout in Troop 75. Long time ago. Huh? You want, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that was, wasn't that with the church that's right up down the street? Yeah, I think they were in the, yeah, that was, yeah, that was back in the 60s. Yeah, that's what, and then you had to go get that left-handed smoke sniffer from the camp next door to you, so the smoke, so you use it. We used to pull that trick on everybody. I told my grandkids that, they said, what's that, pop up? I said, that's just to make the thing, we send people over to get something from another camp. And that was one of the jokes. How many are in your Australia? Not even close to becoming Eagle, or already Eagle? Eagle, almost. You're Eagle. I made it to, what's the one before that? Life. I made it to life. I was about 6 badges short of being. Ran out of time. Kind of wish I would have finished. Sorry y'all picked the wrong meeting to come to.
Mayor, I'd like to move that we reconvene the council meeting.
Second.
Scour.
In accordance with Chapter 81A of the Kentucky Revised Statutes, I certify that the executive session was for an appropriate purpose under the law and that no action was taken or matters beyond 81A's exemptions were discussed.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are back in session. First reading resolution 711 series 2022. This is to, as you all know, the streetscape on Waterson Trail was bid out several months ago. The cost went up. We went and got the extra money for it. It has been standing stagnant because the District 5 had to review to see if the pricing was correct. At this point in time, we were asking to be able to sign the contract with Mac Construction. They were the winner of the bid. They have held the price so far for the last several months. After this, we still are waiting for an MOA from the state, which should come anytime, which will probably be on the desk next time. And at that point in time, they can start constructing. It will be built around Gaslight. I mean, not around Gaslight, but it will not interfere with Gaslight. So it's a motion to allow me to sign the general contractor services that Mac Construction has won in the bid process for streetscape on Waterson Trail Phase 1. Question?
Mayor, make a motion that we have first reading of resolution 711, is it?
711.
Yeah.
22.
Yes, 2022,
By title.
title only.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
How much is this? Who's paying for it?
It's 80/20 federal grant money. And I believe it's, let's see if I can get the bid here.
$3,915,222.
There it is right there. Whoop, Bill, you just passed it. Right there.
Thank you.
Okay.
So it'll cost the city about $800,000.
With that, it includes a new entrance into the parking area over here in the pavilion. It includes a new front on City Hall, new streetscape going down, whether it's lights, trees, sidewalks, electric, speakers, amplification, the whole process. This goes from the fire department down to Billtown Road. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Like sign. Motion carries unanimous.
First reading of resolution number 711, series 2022, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with general contractor services related to Waterson Trail streetscape. That concludes first reading. You may entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item number 8 is the third reading of ordinance 1430, series 2022. I'll entertain a motion to put it on the floor.
Mayor, I make a motion for third reading of ordinance number 1430, series 2022 by title only.
We have a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Hey,
Call the roll.
Tim was the only no. Got it. Motion carries. At this time, we are going to, since it has been a while since the presentation, we're going to allow the people through a McDonald's style hearing to present. And then also, Skylar, you want to say how this will go?
Yeah, I need to first give a third reading
Okay. I'm sorry.
and then open the McDonald's style hearing as you directed. This is third reading of ordinance number 1430, series 2022, an ordinance to amend the zoning of a certain parcel of land located within Jeffersontown, Kentucky, from CTC2 classification to PRD classification, a detailed district development plan, and waivers. That concludes third reading.
It'll be an open of the McDonald's style hearing. The project would just to let you all know what it is so that there's ample time. We won't go through everything, but Steve will present, kind of get you caught up. Then Shelby will bring to you that you all requested the last time what we've done to get it to this point, and then the applicant can come in and explain to you what the project actually is.
Hey, Mayor, were there any changes since the last time we did this to the presentation or the property?
No,
No
No
changes?
changes?
at this point, they can't do any changes to the project.
So is it necessary to go through it again? There was no changes?
It's 17 single-family attached dwelling units, planned residential development zoning. The 2.38 acres at College Drive. I don't know if you need a refresher on at least what it.
It's up to my colleagues, but I don't need a refresher.
And I don't
Would
even
you,
either.
would you please show us the detailed district development plan?
So there's the applicant's development plan. I think their PowerPoint presentation probably has it in color, but has the private entrance road off of College Drive, private roadways with interior with the 17 units you can see there. They are zero lot lines, so they're townhome style, but they are fee simple lots.
What has changed, Mark, is the your question. Some of the answers to your questions were you wanted a separate access down Eastview. That is a road that will be put in one way, so that's something different than was originally told.
Yeah.
That is coming. Also, going down Neal, Bruner, which is right next to the building here, will be a 2-lane road between Neal and Eastview. So the access that you all were concerned about exiting has been resolved.
Yeah.
But it is still restricted so that we don't have cross traffic coming through the area. And the 17 units would be less productive of your cars than if you put retail there. You'd have a lot more that you'd have to do.
Yeah, a lot less traffic with the 17 dwelling units.
Steve, could I see the binding elements, please?
I'm not sure that this is Metro's PowerPoint. I'm not sure, since I can't add anything new, I always use their PowerPoint. So I was not sure if the binding elements are included in their PowerPoint.
Waivers. Waivers.
Yeah, those were the waivers and variances that were requested as a part of this. But I don't think the binding elements, those would be in the resolution. So I'm not sure if Bill has the resolution.
And we could add, just to be clear, could we add additional binding elements at this time, Skylar?
Yes, as long
Yeah.
as both you and the applicant agree. The other thing that was asked was what have we done to get it to this point? And Shelby did research on that for you all and let him present it to you.
What was the waivers?
Let me go
I
back.
forgot what that
Oops.
was. It was approve or deny the,
They were to, it was to overlap the rear yard with a drainage easement. That's where it's backed up to the commercial properties off of Ruck Regal.
Go back.
And there was a waiver for them to be allowed to have 5 units together. The planned residential development.
That's right, instead of the
typically
4,
limits to
have that
4.
one.
In this case, the 5 that
13 through 17.
on that entrance road. So they recommended approval of both of those. Commission did.
Shelby? Since y'all haven't had a lot of connectivity with Shelby, we thought he'd let him present to you guys too.
So, to put together a timeline based on the documentation that I have acquired. So Jetta purchased the property July 31st, 2017. That was the day that the property was closed. During that time, leading, as you will see on the timeline, up to 2019, the Phase 1 environmentals, the acquisition of sewer easement, all the due diligence work was done during that time, just to kind of preface for our timeline here. During that time as well, there was no marketing being done at the time except for verbal marketing from my predecessor at that point. He was working connections and speaking with different individuals regarding the property. A formal RFP notice was submitted May 1st, 2019, published in the Courier Journal. That ran and was closed, and according to my records, there was no response upon the property received as of July 31st of 2019. No one responded to that request for proposal. There were a number of discussions with distilleries, with hotels, looking to create sort of a, I guess, boutique hotel distillery combination for the property, a multi-use sort of collaboration for the property. There was no action, no movement on that. I do have documented a specific mixed-use hotel project that would be falling within this. That was a cold call to a hotel company. There was no action taken on that, and actually the company declined any interest in that. We had, as you will see from the inquiry section, a number of different outreach inquiries from a number of different interested parties during that time. Just to go down the list, May 1st, 2019, mixed-use hotel. That was the cold call, no action. In December of 2019, landscaping business that would also be housing equipment and utilizing that there. That zoning was not permissible under CTC2. That was discussed with the inquirer, and no follow-up was had after that. March 4th, 2020, there was an inquiry, unknown usage based on my notes, but no follow-up was had from that. September 12th, 2019, daycare and beauty salon. It was explained at the time that there was a desire for a sort of multi-use property to the site. That if that could be incorporated, that could be something that would be looked for. No action on that. September 12th, 2019, there was a request for inquiry, office and retail development. That development stated that they did need access to be granted to them for Billtown Road in order to be able to do that. That is a complicated matter that was discussed. Upon looking into it, there was no follow-up after that, no action. There was discussion had, outreach to a regional developer to try to create a multi-use property project there. That discussion, the details are unknown. However, it seemed that there was no interest because there was no activity from that. April 6th, 2020, a 46-unit senior housing development that would be second floor and above. First floor would be office and community space. Was an inquiry that was discussed. No follow-up from the developer. May 5th, 2020, there was an inquiry for the creation of a dance studio on the site. No follow-up on that matter. January 6, 2020, plumbing service was looking to establish a site there. Would have a contractor shop, but would be in more of a sort of shop on one end and a pole barn open concept on another end. That was relayed that it was not permissible with that setup under CTC2 zoning, but something different could possibly be looked at. No follow-up. October 11th, 2020, small developer wanted commercial, small strip center to be developed there, was wanting to check with their partner, inquired about logistics and specifics of the property. When that was relayed to them, no response. March 9th, 2020, inquiry to use the property for an apartment complex or single family dwelling site. That information was taken in, discussions were had, and no follow-up. The property was listed on CoStar and LoopNet, which is a flagship commercial real estate database that allows for properties to be viewed to the commercial real estate market by number of individuals globally, and that can be had. It's a service that is utilized by that community quite often. From August 2020 to July 2021, pulled the numbers on that. We had 759 views on the property, no leads.
I have a question, Shelby. I have a question. You weren't here when this was going on, but can you tell me why it wasn't listed on Jefferson County MLS on the commercial division?
I could not give you an answer on that.
I guess they didn't use a realtor.
To my understanding from the data that I've received, it was discussed to be put on CoStar, LoopNet, as well as KCREM.
And what was the asking price at that time?
To my recollection, I believe it was 160.
What?
160.
And what did the property sell for? We don't know that.
Hadn't sold yet.
Hasn't sold.
Well, can you tell us what the contract is for?
Contract's 225.
I think so. I think 225. Yes.
225.
225.
The property was discussed, I believe, for feasibility of looking at the placement of the new police department on that site. That was in 2020, developing a new building there. I don't have a lot of information on that, but to my understanding, that property wasn't selected. So it would seem that that wasn't fitting for that site. After the inquiries and outreach in 2021, Jetta decided to put out another RFP for the site, expanding the net, so to speak, to try to get more interest within the property. There was a development RFP notice placed in the Courier Journal again for a second time on March 31st, 2021. There were responses to that, and on July 16th, the current group that is under contract submitted their proposal for that. The Jetta board did select that for the winning bid, and then the purchase agreement was executed on September 1st, 2021.
Hey, Shelby. Thanks for coming out. Just to confirm, Jetta that we're talking about is separate from the city. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so the agreement, the purchase agreement is with Jetta, not with the city of Jeffersontown?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
To clarify that, Councilman Bloom, Jetta is what is known as a corporate body politic. It is a creature of Jeffersontown ordinance. We oversee their finances. We oversee their audit. And so they are not a pure standalone corporation out there in the nature of let's say, third turn. They are an agency of the city that has standalone corporate powers to act upon their bylaws in accordance with the authority that the city of Jeffersontown has given them by ordinance. So JETA exercises the power that you, the council, have given them by ordinance. Is that clear?
Shelby, thank you for coming out. I do appreciate you taking time this evening. Looks like you've done a lot of research on this, which is good, because I have a couple questions.
You asked for it, Brian.
It looks like there's 11 entities listed here that either called or submitted some type of paperwork to JETA about the property. No less than 2 of those were not permitted under the CTC2 zoning. My question is this. Were those 2 entities told that they could simply come before the city council and request a zoning change so that it would fit? And if not them, what about the other ones that have? My question is actually larger than that. When JETA expanded your search, as you said, why didn't JETA come to city council and say, we can't do anything with the property, we want to downzone it?
So I can't speak for those that came before me in that. To my understanding, all of the options and knowing my predecessor, all of the options would have been laid on the table in those discussions to allow them to know if you go this route, this is what you would have to do.
I know of at least one more inquiry that's not listed on
So
here.
it's not necessarily a concept of saying that it's not permissible, that's it. To my understanding, it would be that under what project you're wanting to accomplish, this wouldn't be permitted under current zoning. However, these would be your options if that were to be what you would.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't state that. It simply says zoning not permissible under CTC2. I think it's safe to assume that JET understood the CTC2 zoning and wanted to keep it that way because they understood the wishes of this council.
I would say that's not true.
Okay. By the way, we don't sit in on JETA meetings. So
yeah,
that's just an assumption on my part.
That's correct.
Yes.
I would say JETA realized the CTC2 was limiting them when they put out the first RFP up top. It doesn't say that was under the CTC2 only. We got 0 response. And so Mike tried to find somebody within, just personally try, after you put out the RFP, no response, you can do a personal one-to-one, as you realize. And we couldn't get anybody in that area at all. So the second response went out. And with the second response, it came to what you have before you. And what's for you is the zoning change. So that's why it came to this. If we had done the second RFP, or if they had done the second RFP and it followed CTC2, there wouldn't be a reason for JETA or this group to be here. But the best use of the property we found was this group. And like I said, the JETA board's made up of professionals. So it's not like that somebody didn't know what to do. You have several people on there that are developers, the real estate agents that are commercial, you have utilities, the whole 9 yards. So they understood what it meant to develop this property and how it will be developed in the future. They also realized that in what has happened in the pandemic has changed what we viewed CTC2 when we first did it. When we first did it, everybody was working in their offices in the park, not working from home. And also they realized that retail was strong. Since the pandemic, retail is coming from Amazon. All the retailers are fighting. So there's less chance of putting retail in there or putting office in there of any kind. So that's why times has changed. So they were adjusting to the times. And they thought close to a $7 million residential property in downtown is beneficial to downtown J-Town to up the ante of what the properties are valued.
I have a question about the September 12th, 2019 daycare and beauty salon. Now that is allowed in a CTC2 zone property. So, and it says Mike explained the desire, what he wanted for the site. So they turned him away, but that is something that is allowable. That was asked, but
I
I
don't
guess
know that
Jetta
it was
turned him
I
away,
don't know
or
that they turned him
turned
away,
away.
Mark.
oh,
It was explaining, and maybe I was flawed in that, but it was explaining the reasonings that are given on here are determinants of the responses that Mike would have given to them. It doesn't mean that he deterred them from going ahead and submitting an offer or applying. It was that when he outlined what Jetta was looking for the property at that time, that would have been what they would have been looking for.
and was that found in like an email, or like how are we, I guess what I'm trying to also figure out is how were these summaries found?
So they came from various sources.
Just various sources
Yeah.
saying this is what, okay. So maybe secondhand. Okay.
And then you also have the CoStar down there that had 759 inquiries or views to see if this is something they want to do. So beyond what Shelby could find, because Mike didn't, when somebody calls him, he doesn't write it down every time. What the CoStar and LoopNet is something that people look at it and say, nope, that's not me. Or they would call Mike or Shelby now.
Did Mike, do you know if Mike personally went and visited people and tried to sell the property, Bill? Do you know if he did that?
I don't know what you mean by personally.
Well, I mean,
when he called,
He's a realtor. If I have something to sell, I go to that person and I knock on their door and I say, can I interest you in this? Did Mike wait for the calls to come to him, or did Mike be aggressive and be proactive?
I would say
It was
both.
From what I've gathered from the detailings of Mike's work, there was a significant amount of outreach, especially within reaching out to those distillers and hotels and different businesses that were seeming to be desired or attractive at that time, reaching out to regional developers to try to see if there could be a partnership created to be able to develop.
Well, it was during COVID, so I can understand.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So-
COVID,
Oh,
2
it's
years
prior
of this.
COVID too. 2 years.
Yeah. So,
But during 2020 was when we had the split, people working inside 1 week, at home another week. We had this, the two teams, and nobody was meeting anyone. So other than on Zoom.
But there was, that's misconstrued. He did work. He did reach
Yeah.
out. So, I mean, it just didn't physically go to the person's office, but he reached out for the commercial people, CBRE, Blackadder. I mean, all the different groups to see if they would be interested. And he didn't reach out just to commercial real estate agents. He reached out to commercial developers.
Right.
Like, Jerry Blackadder and all that. I don't have that in here, but I mean, different developers that do commercial property to get advice and to see if they're interested. Any other questions for Shelby?
Yeah, I guess I have another question about Mike's role in this as director of economic development. So was he actively, like when he was trying to find people for this property, he wasn't speaking on behalf of Jetta? Was he speaking on behalf of the Jetta board, or is he not allowed to be on Jetta board? I know he participates in partnership with them, but
He's a non-voting member.
he's a non-voting member, so he would be the one that would try to
If these people
steer the Jetta board.
No,
I'm trying to
no.
understand.
He doesn't
the
sway him.
relationship.
If one of these said, yes, I want to do this, he would take the project to Jetta
Mhm.
and say, you all want to do this.
So he was working with Jetta like he would work with a private.
He legally served as the executive director of Jetta and the economic development director of the city of Jeffersontown.
Mhm.
He had two roles.
And so if Jetta wanted somebody to go and recruit, they would tap him as executive director. That's like in his roles and responsibilities.
If I'm sorry, what's your question again?
Like if the Jetta board has a property and they want to go find someone to buy it, they would use the economic development director to do that, or the
That's
executive.
exactly what he was doing.
I'm just
Yes.
making sure.
Yeah.
Good questions. Any other ones?
Thanks, Shelby.
Thanks, Shelby. Appreciate it. Good to let you all see Shelby, your economic director, in case you haven't met him. And with that, I'll let the applicant come up and kind of show you what the building looks like, and then you can have any questions for them, and then you can decide where you want to go.
Thank you, Mayor. It's on.
Yeah,
Hear me
you're on,
okay?
you're on.
All right.
My name's Paul Whitty here on behalf of Pulte Homes, and with me tonight is Dan Hempel as well, and he may give you some additional information that I think will be useful to you in making your decision. I am certainly not going to plow through every slide that you had seen before unless you would want me to, but I'll just go through a few. But before I do that, before I forget, I just wanted to ask Shelby one question to clear up, because you heard him say that in the number of contacts that he had, that there was no follow-up. Now, I think he meant that there was no follow-up by the prospective buyer, not that there was no follow-up by J-Town. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah, because that you could construe that
Right. Thank you.
another way. So it's a 17-unit townhome development that will be owner occupied, and you certainly know the location very, very well, and that's the aerial that shows its location. And as the mayor pointed out, we've since resolved some connectivity issues, which I think is beneficial to this use as well. There's the color site plan imposed on it. And you see the units that actually are nearest to College Drive. That's the side of the building. And the reason they granted that waiver to have more than 4 is because actually the way they're configured there, if you had 2, 3, 4, or 5 from College Drive, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference because you're looking at the side of the building. And then the waiver in the back for the overlap, that is almost in every case now in Jefferson County. In fact, I think they're about to revise that regulation because they grant the variance in just about every case. And so it's wearing them out. And so just a little closer look at the site. There's quite a bit of open space and green space and large detention facility. So it's certainly not going to cause any stormwater runoff issues for any of the neighbors. And these are some of the renderings. And I think you would have to agree that they're nice looking buildings. And that's really, I think, all you need to know. And I'll answer some questions, but perhaps I'll ask Dan to come up because I think you were kind of interested. I understand that you were interested in the price of the units as well as the tax revenue impact on the development. So Dan, if you.
Thank you, Mayor. So we are planning 17 units on this property, and the base price is starting at $325, and we're assuming that the average ASP is going to be around $350, and the tax revenue, based on a $350,000 home for taxes around $3 to $4 grand that it generates.
Not in J-Town.
But I don't know what portion of that goes to J-Town. So,
What about garbage, Mayor? Are they gonna picking up their garbage, or they got their own garbage?
Typically, like on our HOAs, we can set up either way where they'll have a bulk service agreement with as part of their dues, and they can work it out. But I'm not sure how J-Town we can work that out either way.
Usually, to answer your question, Ray, that if a development, what you all started is if a development signs a hold harmless agreement, and they can put the garbage cans out front. We don't go around back. If that's the case, then they get garbage service. Unless they have a dumpster, we do not pick up dumpsters.
Are we doing the same thing with this new one in front of across from the community center?
I think they have dumpsters. I'm not sure. I don't know what that one is.
And this community won't have dumpsters. It'll be single trash cans per each unit.
As long as Rumpke can get in there.
They got a pup truck. They take a pup truck back through here anyway.
Well, wouldn't it be whichever waste manufacturer or waste folks that the HOA would pick? I mean, it's not necessarily going to get Rumpke if those aren't public
No,
streets.
I think he's saying we're gonna pick it up. It is gonna be public streets.
Those are going to be public streets?
No, they're gonna be
No.
private, but they'll sign a home pharmacy agreement.
Yeah, you've done that over in various places all around the town. If they're
That's if the HOA does that though, right? Okay.
What about, so salt? We wouldn't be plowing or salting?
No, they're private.
So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but based on a $350,000 sale price, a good rule of thumb is 1% of what you pay for is your state and county taxes. So that would equal $3,500 per unit for Jefferson County. J-Town would get approximately $490 per unit per year times 17, which would be a gross income to us of $8,330 for the tax base that we would get from here. So that's what these units would bring to us, $8,300.
As far as taxes. Now
As
that,
far as taxes.
and that, what it does do is bring people downtown.
Right.
So trying to do.
Got to get more people down here.
And as you all know, these are owner, because as I've told you before, the sewer that is, that they're going to use, the sewer tap comes across Boulder Creek, and the owner has agreed to let them come across Boulder Creek as long as they're not competitors' apartments. So they were looking for ownership.
And I assume this alley here is what you're talking about, taking the extension out to Taylor's Road?
Mm-hmm.
No, it stops on the other side, right?
Okay.
That goes towards you.
Okay, I thought it went.
It goes out the other way.
Does this come up to your property, Ray?
Yes, sir, ma'am.
That's more of drainage at that point.
Okay.
There's no way to get that out that direction. So that would be just a drainage area.
Gotcha.
Why don't you have to recuse yourself if Pam recuses herself, why don't you have to?
I asked the first meeting, he
They
said,
do not need to recuse themselves. They have identified that they are adjacent property owners or have interest in adjacent properties. And with that transparency, that does not disqualify them from voting on it. But it is an appropriate thing to do so that the record is clear as to any potential influence they may have.
Any other
It's
questions?
like, what's that? Do you know what that is right there? That,
That's
A little triangle.
yeah,
It's grass right now.
it is.
I don't see what your point
Isn't
that's
that-
Ray's property, actually, I think.
No, I think that's
No.
the daycare right there, and then that's the little strip of grass to the right where the road turns
Okay.
at the
So, but-
bend. Yeah, she's pointing up to the top left,
Oh, okay.
but not by units in
So this
other
is-
side of 8 and 7.
That's, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the strip.
That's the daycare. I think Ray's is down below by number 1 and 2, the triangle.
I
Yeah,
got you.
he's down there.
I mean, it's right on Mill. Right on.
Any other questions?
So what do we need to do now? How do we
Well, you
proceed?
either make a motion to approve, a motion to deny, a motion to approve under certain conditions. Well, if you deny, there's no motion to deny with certain
Make a
conditions.
motion to approve
Any condition.
with stipulation that the buyer of the property doesn't change anything.
Now, the stipulation is that, that.
It sounds like you need to make the motion.
Yeah. Vince, why don't you make the motion? Seriously.
With the stipulation that the zoning change will go into effect when you complete your side of the deal. If you don't complete your side of the deal, then the zoning does not get changed.
It reverts back.
CTC2 or whatever.
As development as presented? Right.
I
As
guess so.
development is presented. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the zoning change is contingent on the development
Okay.
being developed as presented tonight.
This
Any
development
timeline?
does not go
Then you-
through.
Second.
Do any timeline on it?
2 years.
Timeline is gonna be, what's the normal timeline? 2, 3 years, 2 years? 2 years, okay.
Is that okay? Okay, so let me see if I can articulate this to some degree. I may have to have Skylar actually do it. Why don't I have Skylar do it? So it's
Vince, as I understand what you're saying to me, is that your motion is to approve the zoning change to the requested zoning contingent upon the development being done in accordance with the detailed district development plan in a period of 2 years from approval.
as presented today.
As presented today.
Yes.
Okay, and Ronnie second that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Would that include a certificate of occupancy within the 2 years?
I don't know.
What does the 2 years mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Go
Well,
ahead.
they start doing it.
Yeah.
I think the concern is that if we change the zoning and you don't build and you decide to build something different or sell it to someone else, you come in here with a different plan, it becomes difficult for the council to deny it based on the new
zoning.
Could there be a percentage of completion?
Well, I think if we change the plan, we would have to come back anyways through.
Yeah, we
but if
understand that.
We understand that.
If I could, the planned residential development is a very narrow zoning. I mean, this is specific to allowing a single-family residential subdivision. So they couldn't come back and just eliminate the lots and do apartments here, because they'd have to come back and go through the process with for that. It's not like
Steve, what they're trying to do, not to interrupt you, and I understand why they're trying to do it because they've been stung before, is if the developer does not develop it as presented, that it would revert back to the original zone.
CTC2.
That's what we want.
That Skylar says you can put it in.
Yeah, I believe that can be done.
Let me ask you a question on this as well. I recently had a case that somebody was going to build single family dwellings, okay, which is fine. That's what everybody wanted. Come to find out, it was for an administration that's going to have a home ownership of only the place that he lives, and all the ones around him were going to be rental properties. So it wasn't a home ownership. They were building, they did what they said they were going to do, was build family dwellings, but then they used all those houses for rental.
But they're planning on selling them, right?
Can you, my point is, can you put that in there? It has to be.
That's a federal thing.
Yeah, these are, we're not in the rental, Pulte's not in the rental business. We sell, everything's fee simple.
Right. I've sold and showed your property before. It's very nice.
Well, there's property rights issues. You can't bind them to that.
Can't restrict it. Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second and an agreement with the owner. Okay, attorney. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Yes, I do. I want to say, I want to make sure I clear the record on a few things here. The question was asked to me, executive session.
Please don't express what was said in executive session. Let's try a different way to bring it up. Okay?
Okay.
We can't talk about we can't.
I wasn't able to fully explain the answer, and I thought, I thought you said you had to do it outside out here.
What he's saying is answer the question. Ask yourself the question or answer it that way. It's not something that was said in executive session.
This was not said in executive session.
In other words, you can't quote, Joe Smith told me this, and in response to that.
No.
Okay.
What I wanted to make sure the council knows, and of course, everyone here is welcome to know as well, what my reasons are, and I've been adamant about this for the last 7 weeks, I guess, or 8 weeks. And I want to preface this all by saying, you've got a strong council. You got 8 council people and a mayor who work very well together. There are times when we may seem a little bit contentious, but make no mistake that what comes out of this meeting tonight won't go through those doors. We all hang our egos outside, and we don't worry about that afterwards. We state our cases in here. And when I said I want to preface it, I want to start off with this mayor that I've known for nearly 28 years. He's a fine gentleman, and there's been no more ardent supporter of Bill Deriff than me for those 12 years that I've been on this council and the 15 years that we served in Plainview together. So that being said, this is not a personal issue with the mayor. He's done a great job here and will continue to do so. And regardless of how this comes out this evening, I will continue supporting everything he does. I believe in the man. So when it comes to this, what I wanted to address was, it's coming to my attention that it's been said that I'm getting a negative reputation, as being not business friendly. And anyone who's known me for any amount of time knows that's nothing could be further from the truth with me. And in 12 years I've been on this council, going back to the early things when we voted to give incentives to the Marriott company when they came in and did millions of dollars worth of renovation to the hotel over there, fully in favor of it, fully supported it, and not so much because I'm pro-business, that's which I am, but it was because it was in the best interest of the citizens of Jeffersontown to have a nice hotel there that would bring workers in, and we would also benefit by the revenue generated there. Then we went on we had the jobs program that we developed about 10 years ago. Wonderful thing, wonderful incentives to attract businesses to Jeffersontown, to retain businesses in Jeffersontown, and to make sure that those who wanted to expand, they were already here, they could do so, and they were incentivized to do it. I didn't do it because I was trying to benefit any one business. It benefited all the businesses because they were all included, as long as they met a certain criteria, but it also benefited the citizens of Jeffersontown. Same with the facade program we started, so that when businesses wanted to renovate the front of the building, whether it be paint or structure, we had incentives for that. So the people of Jeffersontown would have clean, good-looking buildings and nothing that was being in disrepair, because it benefited the citizens of Jeffersontown. And when we were told that it would be in the best interest of the city moving forward to have a JETA board, fully stepped on board with that, completely agreed and voted every time to fund that board, because I believed in the program, and I still believe in the program. Then, today, and tomorrow, I will believe in that program, because it's in the best interest of the people of Jeffersontown. And when we make decisions on zoning, we do so because it's always in the best interest of the future of this city and these residents. That's why. And I make the statement, I've made it several times in the last 8 weeks, and I'll say it one more time. I don't believe that going backwards on a zoning and reverting back is in the best interest of the citizens of Jeffersontown. That being said, we've had cases that have been presented tonight that any rational person could say, well, it makes sense to me. Good looking buildings. They are good looking buildings. I just have a problem with that, with not having, with the CTC, which is, for those who, it would not allow first floor residential. It would have to be, those buildings can still be built, but the first floor would have to be retail
or commercial.
At least some of it. Okay. At least some of it. So that being said, that's where I stand with it, because I think there's a bigger vision for our city that this council bought into 12 years ago. And I just hate to see it slide back. I just don't think it is. The reason that we have the contention on anything is this one reason. We want to get it right. That's really what it's all about to. We simply want to get it right. And I've lost other votes before. And it's nothing personal at that point. If what I'm saying doesn't resonate with the council members up here, then so be it. But I hope it does. But other than that, I just wanted to clarify that this is not a personal issue. So when you see us talking amongst ourselves, it's not personal. This is a good city council. It's a good mayor. Skylar does a wonderful job for us as well. So when you leave here this evening, please don't take anything away thinking, well, they're kind of in fray up there. We're not. We're a good council.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
Yes, I'd like to add a little something to that too. J-Town does need patio homes. It is definitely something we need. Individual townhouses or individually owned townhouses. Just don't think that's the area. Mayor, to your thing, you know as well as I do, I've been pushing downtown, the historic area, trying to get foot traffic. I don't think 17 units is it. If you look around the historic area, there are houses everywhere. There are apartments here. What we need is more shops. Now, if you look at the game plan down the road here, Newt's and Tudor might go away. They're always willing to talk. That whole angle back there could change in the very near future. While I think that the facility is nice, they're beautiful, I just don't think that's the area for them. And I appreciate your all's design, but like I said, I just wish it was maybe a little further down the road somewhere. So thanks for coming back for a third time and trying to explain it to us.
With that, I'll take a roll call vote. The council.
Councilman Powell. Wait a second, you want to explain exactly what we're voting for?
Yes.
Explain exactly what we're voting for there, Skylar. We're voting to accept.
The motion is to approve the change in zoning from CTC2 to PRD, along with a detailed district development plan and waivers, contingent upon the development being completed according to the detailed district development plan and within a period of 2 years from approval.
Could I make one? I'm so sorry. Bear with me. Could you maybe give them 2.5 years just to give them a little wiggle room? Pandemic stuff still going on.
The detailed development plan will expire in 2 years, so they're tied together.
I thought as long as you started it within 2 years, you didn't necessarily have to finish in 2 years. The way we've got it stipulated, they have to finish in 2 years. I may be wrong on that.
He called on me first.
No, I didn't.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, Ray, the motion that was seconded, made and seconded is the one that I just restated for Vince, so we need to stick with that.
Okay. So Vince, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Councilman Bloom?
No.
Councilwoman Ware, sorry.
What I would like to do is, and I don't do this often, but for this particular vote, I'm going to do this because I'm not comfortable with it. And I know it's legal that I can vote. I've talked to my mother-in-law that's across the street. I've talked to my husband's business partner that owns part of the rental house. I've heard the council's viewpoint, the mayor's viewpoint, and I'm just not comfortable with the vote. So I'm going to recuse my vote.
Councilwoman Pike?
No.
Councilman Perkins?
Yes.
Councilman Abrams?
No.
Councilman Hall?
A vote to deny approval.
A vote of 5 to 2, or 5 to, sorry, vote of 4 to 3 with one abstention. The motion fails.
The motion having failed, I would request a motion to deny the application for a zoning change from CTC 2 to PRD.
So moved. So moved.
First,
who did first?
Right.
Okay, then I'll do the second.
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Call the roll.
Clarification.
Councilman Grisanti?
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, we have a clarification from our attorney. So this motion would be, yes would be to deny, and no would be to approve. Yes to deny.
If you want to deny the zoning, vote yes.
Okay, want to make sure we.
Wait. If you want to.
Okay. Councilman Grisanti?
Yes.
Councilman Bloom?
Just a yes is a denial?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ware,
Recuse.
Councilwoman Pike,
Yes.
Councilman Perkins,
No.
Councilman Abrams,
Yes.
Councilman Hall,
Yes.
Councilman Powell.
No.
By a vote of 5-2 with one abstention, the motion passes.
Recuse.
All right.
It's changed.
Didn't make any difference.
No, it didn't.
Didn't make any difference.
The first motion was to approve it. The second motion was to deny it, correct?
Committee reports. And where?
No report.
Carol Pike.
The only thing that I have is tonight, it's almost over now, but we were supposed to go to a police officers thing. And it was in Douglas Hills, and it was to support our police, and everybody was supposed to be there and meet your local representatives, but we're not going to go to that now. Second thing is I wanted to give kudos to the person whoever bought or rented the gas station up next to Savannah's, Sweet Savannah's, how nice it looks. I want more of that for our downtown. And Shelby, you got your job cut out for you, sir, because that's a nice look, and we need more of that. Very good. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Scouts.
Ray Perkins.
Mayor, in the last few meetings, we've had continued reports of the rat problem in different parts of the city. And it's not the first time we had a problem with the pool area the old pool area several years ago. And I understand it is health department's responsibility, but I've been around long enough to know that people are going like this, and this problem's still not getting resolved. So I would like to make a motion that the city allocate some funds towards hiring some professional exterminators to look into this to eradicate the rats in those areas.
Have you talked to Ron Miller in the last?
I got an email, but I didn't understand exactly what he was saying. He's saying they were going to look into more of it.
Bill, weren't they going to come back out, the health department? Do you know?
It's not with the health department. It's actually with code.
With who?
Code. Code. Code enforcement.
Oh, code
So
enforcement.
Code enforcement.
Contacting code.
Do you have a price?
Is that Jefferson County code?
Well, and I can only speak for
You told me
myself.
we didn't need to do that.
I don't have a problem, but I spend $60 a month with Black Diamond, and they not only spray my building for bugs, but they set these live bait traps that are outside. They're in a locked box so kids and dogs can't get them. The rats go inside. If there are any, they would eat that, then they would exit and go back to their burrow and die. It is a much stronger chemical than what I believe the health department uses. And it's very inexpensive. Like I said, it's like $60 a month. So if we have, 20 residences, we're talking $1,200. So if they have to do that for 5 or 6 months to get rid of the problem, we're less than $10,000.
I'm with you on that, but after talking to Ron, he says that we don't need that and that they were going to do something different. I think before we vote on it, maybe you should talk to Ron.
Well, we can put it up to the next meeting. I'm just saying that, I know
I'm for you. I mean,
I don't think it ever got resolved fully at the pool area, and that may be because of the creek. But I've got a creek goes through my property. I swear I don't see any rats. I've had raccoons, possums, squirrels, chipmunks, but never rats.
Councilman Perkins, I want to make sure I understand what it is you want to do. I need to make certain, for example, if we supply the product, okay, we have to be licensed, and as a government, we may not be able to apply to provide, for example, the Black Diamond. Ron Miller knows all the licensing that Code did, Metro Code Enforcement did. I want to clarify are there ways that we can provide the good stuff and not the lukewarm stuff that code in Metro has to provide? Is that,
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
but Black Diamond is a provider. They're not a
Right.
particular chemical.
Got one
We
question
wouldn't
to
actually
ask.
do that. We would actually hire them
Hire
to.
them to do it.
But let me ask you this. Ron was concerned with one thing, and I want to ask Skylar this. If we do this, we hire these people, and let's say that somebody's dog or somebody's child, God forbid, would get hold of it, who's liable for that? The city? Black Diamond? Who?
You'd have to.
Yes.
That's what Ron was concerned with.
If we were doing it, if we were putting employees of the city was putting out the bait, the poison, what have you, and something like that happened, we would be on the hook. If we hire a contractor, we can contractually arrange for them to indemnify us, which we do in all of our contracts like that, to where if they put something out and something negative happens, our liability is, our exposure, I should say, is reduced. We could potentially be held liable.
Did we
But-
did we do a similar thing with mosquitoes years ago? Did we hire a company, or did City of Louisville do that?
I seem to remember that we did.
We sprayed some, but I think
could
Louisville
remember.
did some too.
But
Pretty
that's
sure.
that's if we did.
I think we may have done it at the pool that one summer that it was so bad.
I think Louisville puts out dunks.
Okay,
Yeah.
Do it once or twice a year or something like that, I believe.
Public Works didn't do that then.
but if we need to move forward with it, you're right.
I don't know.
I
right
think
now,
we would
I'm sure.
we would hire that out.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's what I'm suggesting. But let's do this. Let's put it off for a couple of weeks. I don't want to put it off too long because it's been going on for years. So if you could look into that and kind of give us some clarification by next meeting, I'd really appreciate it. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Brian,
Mayor, Finance has no official report. Thank you, sir.
thank you. Tim,
Planning and zoning has nothing to report.
thank you. Ron,
Nothing to report from legislation.
thank you. Vince,
I got nothing to report from Public Works, but I did have a constituent ask me when they're going to get that bike headway going along Waterson Trail down to Boone's Grove and beyond. Do you know anything about that?
it's not slated for this year. It's not budgeted for this year.
It's not budgeted. Yeah. Is he going to get on? Okay.
Up to y'all next
Got to
year.
ask the next mayors.
All right. And the second,
Vince, would that constituent be you?
That's what I'm wondering.
Getting tired of crossing the street?
no, I am tired of crossing the street, but it wasn't me. And then the second thing is, should we do a little more for the people in the flood zone and besides 2 cars?
Did we
Yes.
ever determine an amount?
Huh?
Did we ever determine an amount we were going to give them, Mayor? People in flood?
Did we ever say? We never even say anything.
We were
about
talking
that.
about it earlier when you first comments. And these
You
cars,
gave,
we
you
give
gave
them
for
cars.
the water with blessings,
And we get cars.
and we gave 2 cars.
4 cars.
No,
Well,
2
4 cars went to, we sold 4 cars to
sorry.
Linden,
Linden,
and we
right.
gave 2 cars to Whitesburg.
What would you think would be good? Vince?
I don't know who you're going to give it to.
I would be glad to, if y'all wanted to allocate so much, I'll be glad to go do the shopping for it. I know that there's a big truck going down there. If y'all want us to do it, I don't mind going to do that and volunteering my part.
Did we do something similar with the tornadoes in Western
Yes.
Kentucky?
Yes.
And what was that dollar amount?
I believe it was 10,000 to start. We might have done more later.
Who'd you give it to?
Well, we did.
You- I think you did it, Mayor.
There's a benefit. I thought the church had the benefit of the
Oh, that's what it
Jeffersonian.
was. We gave it to the church down there and they distributed it to
Yeah.
their people.
That was a benefit in the late fall. Yeah, the fall, I guess.
But remember you and Chief
I don't
went
remember
down
the dollar
there and you gave them some cars too, but we gave them some money.
We did cars, we did police officers, we did
you?
ambulances,
Huh?
we did fire trucks.
Bobcat.
Rick's trying to say
Bobcat.
something.
I remember lightly about a fundraiser, but I can't remember who
Rick
did
wants
it.
to say something.
Mayor, if I may, my church is in Eastern Kentucky, and I work very closely with the Presbyterian Disaster Assistance through Jim Garrett, who works for PDA and also for the state emergency management and who is involved down there. We're getting, I have access to a lot of information, as do you, Mayor, of course, that as to what may be needed and when. The timing right now is kind of difficult to say, well, we're going to give cash or we're going to give, things or whatever, and where do we want to take them? How do we want to distribute them? I think by early next week, we'll know a great deal more about specifically things that need to go where and have a better handle on what the reconstruction efforts will be. I likely will be down there Saturday. So
Could we approve the funds and let the mayor decide how best to use those funds to help those people in Eastern Kentucky?
And we could.
Up to so much money?
Chief, what did you have?
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nowhere to put stuff.
Chief, how soon do you know if FEMA's going to move buildings in for them or Red Cross move buildings in for?
they're already doing it.
Governor was moving them in today, or they've been moved in, they just haven't been connected.
Well, then I'm along with Councilman Perkins and Councilwoman Pike. I agree. We could set an amount and let the mayor, as on discretion, work that out monetarily.
Are you guys okay?
Would you be
with
comfortable with mayor doing that?
that? I would.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Vince,
Don't you want to make your
my
motion?
sprinkler system.
What do you want to do? 5,000? What do you want to do?
I think 10.
10,000.
Mhm.
Make a motion, we donate 10,000 to the people of the flood disaster.
Out of what?
Out of the mayor's funds.
Second.
You got a second. There's a second.
Mayor doesn't
Which
have
fund
enough
you
in his
get?
funds.
Bill,
Well, we
Mr.
can
Fox, you have
maybe-
35,000.
Okay, out of the
loan
city
it.
funds.
We can loan it to the mayor.
Okay,
Out of
second.
city funds, we
Council funds.
council funds.
Good. I'll second that. Good idea.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous by voice vote.
10,000, but he did it all.
There you go.
Anything else? Vince?
No more. Thank you, Commissioner.
Mark?
No report
Nothing
and
else?
nothing else.
The Kentucky. The Kentucky Chamber Annual Dinner is September 14th. It's at the Downtown Marriott. The Chamber usually splits a table with us. Is there anybody here that would like to go?
I'll go.
Yeah, September.
Where's it?
That's the week of Gaslight.
It's Downtown Marriott.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it.
What time is
Yeah, the 14th. I
It's
don't
in
know
the
what
evening.
day of Gaslight that is.
I don't have the exact time.
Yes,
It's
it
in the
is.
evening.
Gaylord. You can
Yeah,
try
that's the
that.
business appreciation. That's the gaslight event that day.
Yeah, it's at lunch.
Yeah, it's the
18th
lunch
is the
morning.
Saturday,
morning
right? So that might be on Tuesday to walk around. I'd rather
It's a
be
Sunday, so the 14th is the Wednesday.
Wednesday. I don't want to go then. That's the day that we work
in the
and
morning.
have the thing in the park.
This is at night.
Yeah, the dinner's tonight.
And do business appreciation and lunch and
Business
this is it.
appreciation.
This is
lunch,
dinner.
yeah.
Okay, so Brian, are you a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Carol, you're a no now?
No, I'll go.
Or yes?
I'm a yes.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go.
Vince?
What day is that on? Wednesday? What day?
Wednesday, September 14th.
I can't make a Wednesday. I gotta get rice.
What's that? Is
He
that
said-
a
he
yes
said no.
or a no?
I can't make it. I got a meeting.
Okay.
I'm a no, mayor.
Okay. Ronnie, you're no? Yeah, Pam?
I'm probably a no.
Okay, no. So we just got Brian and Carol. Okay. Debbie wants to know if anybody wants to ride on the float for Gaslight Parade.
I would like to do our own cars, but it's up to you.
Whatever you want to do.
I can't get up there.
I'm not getting reelected anyway. So hide me on the float.
I'll do a float. That's fine.
Me and Vince will do the float.
I can't get up there. Unless you bring your letter.
Okay, so the float is Brian and Vince, right? Anybody else?
But, me is a question mark.
Okay, anybody else?
I have to think about it.
All right, last thing, the health insurance has come back with good ratings for us, and we'd like to get the health insurance meeting together, the committee, finance, and the rest of the members of the police and public works and everybody as soon as possible. So
So you want everybody meeting? What you said?
that's finance. It's finance with the people.
With the city employees.
Oh, I thought you meant with everybody, with the people on the.
So
How's your schedule, Mayor? You're the one busy.
if we do it what's today, third?
Second.
Today's second.
Today.
Second, that's right.
So the next one will be the 16th, will be the next council meeting.
If y'all could do it, say 3:00 on the Tuesday for the next council meeting.
That's fine. If it's everybody else, I'm fine with that.
I'm so sorry, Mayor. What were you saying?
It'd be August 16th at 3:00.
It's Elvis's birthday. I might.
And that's the finance, which is Brian, Mark, Ray, and Pam.
At 3:00?
Yeah, because we have city employees that are involved.
3 hours?
Yeah.
Well, we typically have,
What-
an hour and a half, two, then you have max after that.
Reason why we're doing it is so we don't have to pay the employees overtime in order to stay.
Jack, too, after that.
Was that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Brian's a yes.
Yes.
I might have to figure out my notes tomorrow. Ray,
Yes, sir.
Pam,
Yes.
and Mark.
I'm a tentative. I'm like an 80%. I can do it. I gotta just double check. I gotta move some stuff around at work. Got another meeting that I gotta let all those people know that I'm not gonna be there.
Okay.
We'll send out a notice.
Yeah.
As we get closer to the time.
And it is a quorum for that, Mayor. You still need 3 members of the Finance Committee for the meeting to take place, or is it a quorum of the Finance Committee and
It's a quorum of the insurance committee.
of the Insurance Committee? So if I'm not there, we still have enough representation.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
Because you got police, you got public works.
Yeah, I don't want to hold it up. That's
Yeah,
you know.
it's fine.
Yeah, a couple of police and one Jimmy and
Usually
Brian from.
1 or 2 from Public Works,
We
right?
have 4. I think there's 4 extra people from within the city.
So
Hey, how's that new system going, Mayor, as far as the, where we're self-insured for that little window in between?
Good. We're beneficial to us. Real beneficial to us. I mean, beneficial in the sense people aren't getting sick. So with that being said, I have nothing more on the agenda.
Mayor, if you have nothing more on the agenda, no further business, I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you all.
Guess we won't go to the police department.